Good morning, you to UConn, to Syracuse, to Team Cornell, to Team Princeton. I don't even know if I apologize yesterday in my lesson to you all. Did I mention Team UConn? If I didn't, I'm sorry. You're not forgotten UConn. That's why you came up first. But good morning anyway. So let's get started. Yesterday, our focus in my presentation and your reading was on the Emancipation Proclamation. And also you read about the role African Americans played in fighting the Civil War. And that was a result of, as you did the reading, the impact of the Emancipation Proclamation. It now allowed for freed slaves now to join the Union Army in the war against the Confederate states of the South. So today we're going to focus on that. Some of that information you may have gained from doing yesterday's activity. So we'll get right to it. Let's go to my screen presenting. My skills are getting a little better at that. I think I have it mastered by now. A little slow and coming up. Wi-Fi not always perfect. So we'll get that. Hopefully no one's, there we go. And we're ready to roll. Okay, so as I said today, our focus is going to be African Americans in the Civil War. This is the last mini lesson, and you're going to be doing watching some videos and doing a written response activity after that. And you could always refer back to these videos for any information that may help you along the way. So one of the big questions you were asked yesterday in completing the reading and note catcher activity was, why did African Americans join the Union Army? We know it was obviously about freedom, becoming free. But I think this particular quote right here, if you could see in this slide, and let me get to present mode so it's easier for you to see, that would be nice. And here it is. This quote here in the first slide says, "Once we let the black man get upon his person the brass letters U.S. and a musket upon his shoulder and bullets in his pocket, and there's no power on earth which he can deny, he has earned the right of citizenship." So that really comes to one reason African Americans wanted to be part of this war, is that for many of them it was the idea of becoming a United States citizen. Frederick Douglass was a well-known abolitionist who fought hard to free slaves, a former slave himself. His two sons fought in the Civil War, served on a regiment called the 54th of Massachusetts that you read about yesterday, and we'll touch a little more on today. So moving forward, many northern states, besides the 54th Regiment that you read about yesterday, had all black soldier regiments. Connecticut, our own state, had the 29th. There's an image here in the slide, I believe, coming up that it'll take a second to pop up here. Here we go. This, I believe, is in New Haven, Connecticut. The Connecticut 29th Colored Regiment, that's what they were referred to. And you see the battle engagements they were part of. So they fought very bravely. All the regiments, the black regiments, fought very bravely. What was at stake was not just freedom, but the idea of citizenship. All right, so moving back, we also, there's another image there of a memorial to the Kansas 1st All-Black Regiment that served in the war. You can take a look at that after as well. I just wanted to focus on Connecticut here. One of the, if not the most decorated or most celebrated regiments during the Civil War was the Massachusetts 54th Regiment. This regiment was put under the command, as all regiments were commanded by white officers. This one was put under the command of Colonel Robert Gould Shaw. If you went to Boston with your team this past October, you may have seen this image coming up shortly on your screen here. does take a second, but you should have all visited. I know Team Cornell, you did visit the 54th Memorial. There is a statue that's a memorial of, there's Colonel Robert Gould Shaw riding his horse, leading his soldiers into battle. A very decorated regiment during the Civil War. Frederick Douglass's sons served in the 54th as well. So moving forward, again, today you are going to look at some movie clips that kind of go back to that question, one of the questions you had yesterday in your note catcher, and dealing with one, the risks that black soldiers faced while they were fighting for the Union Army. They were not treated as equals by their white colleagues or fellow soldiers. And also even the United States government in some ways did not treat them equally. You'll see a film clip here from Glory. This movie is like one of in my list of top 3 movies of all time. But this movie, Glory, tells the story of the 54th. Some of the actors in the movie you will recognize, particularly Denzel Washington, Matthew Broderick, if you've seen the old movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off. But anyway, these 2 clips here, short clips, really kind of deal with both questions you were dealing with yesterday on the role of African-American soldiers in the Civil War. Is one, the reason behind them wanting to volunteer, maybe set up, I think is shown in this clip here, called What's the Point? And then the second clip deals with the issue of soldiers' pay. There was a difference between how black soldiers were paid and how white soldiers were paid. So you're going to watch those clips today. And again, these were the 2 big questions from yesterday. Why did African Americans join the Union Army, and what did they hope to gain? What were some of the risks African American soldiers faced while they were members of the Union Army? In that last that question there, one of the probably the most horrific risks they face is that in battle, sometimes when one side wins, they take prisoners, they capture them. In the case of when Confederate soldiers were to engage with black Northern regiments, if they captured black soldiers, they did not take them prisoner. They were executed. So that was certainly a risk they face in battle. Of course, the ultimate risk when you're fighting is you're risking your life. And then we go back to this question of why did they join the Army? It was about freedom, and yes, it was about citizenship. That quote from Frederick Douglass really says it all. So today you will obviously look at those clips, and then you will have a writing activity where you'll have 2 reflective questions looking at the Emancipation Proclamation, looking at the role of African Americans in the Civil War, and you are going to choose one of those questions to respond to. That will be your assignment today. So good luck. I wish we could have gone in more detail with a lot of these things that we're doing about the Civil War, but this will give you some indication, some ideas. All right, have a great day. I'm going to leave this presentation and come back to you. And guys, I wish you well on the assignments. Have a great day. I hope you've learned something along the way about these 2 days that I've covered with you. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day.